All right, guys. I got this really, really interesting bit of information. I know I say this all the time, and I want to put this on the forefront. I'm not one of those people that want to sit there and say I'm a scooper or a grifter, whatever. I don't like those kind of people. And honestly, I sat here and I talked with my writer, Josh, and we were talking about this, and I wanted him to write this and put this on Slav's Free Talk. I don't want this to be a regular type of thing, but we talked about it and it was like, hey, this is kind of some information that makes sense in the grand scheme of things. This isn't a scoop. This isn't something that you can even say is a scoop. This is kind of information that if you take a look at what James Gunn has been doing with the DCU, if you take a look at what is going on with the universe building there, granted we haven't seen a lot, it gets me kind of excited and it makes sense. So I don't want you guys to take this information that I'm going to talk about here and that you can find over at slavsfreetalk.com. I don't want you to take it and say, ooh, scoop, or ooh, this is what is going on. This is some information that I had passed to me. I don't know if it's legit, but it sounds really cool, and I want to discuss it. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but it's interesting. And that's the point of this. This is what my channel is about, is just discussing really cool information that we may hear or see about the DCU. So take this as you will. I say this with everything. And I put rumor big on the article headline here, as I do with everything. So Josh and I, we talked about it. We decided to put the article up on Slav's Free Talk. So here it is. DCU, James Gunn's bold strategy for character-driven stories, focusing on Gotham. So like I said, this was information that I got passed to me this past weekend. And honestly, it was like, it was just somebody hitting me up through my DMs. This is somebody that I've talked to in the past who's passed me information about things. And believe it or not, things that that they've passed to me have been Daniel RPK has said in the past, the N. Snyder, Jeff Snyder has said in the past. Sometimes it's been a couple days after the fact. Sometimes it's been before. So I say take it with a grain of salt. That's all I say. This is just really interesting information, okay? So what they basically told me was the DCU will eventually have a large focus on Gotham's heroes. This will include Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, Batman, and even the Teen Titans. Patience is key as the team works on scripts and details to build this unique world within a world. This is similar to how Gunn has approached Superman and then Supergirl immediately after, and he wants to approach Batman the same way. Each big hero will essentially have their own little world within the larger universe. Crossovers can and will happen, but they all have their own living and breathing world that can be explored to a certain degree. So I look at this and you start to look at what's been getting built in the DCU. Specifically, he mentioned Superman and Supergirl. Another one to not forget is the Lantern Show. They're building this Lanterns universe as well. You're going to have Lanterns. You're going to have Hal Jordan. You're going to have Jon Stewart. We already know Guy Gardner's out there. So there's a lot of interesting things here to take in. So yes, we're starting off this DC universe with Superman and Supergirl. Essentially, this is going to be like the first two movies. So there you go. You're establishing this super world, essentially. You got the Lantern Show. That's going to focus on the Lanterns aspect and what they're doing and Oa and things going on with the Lanterns. But then we're going to get Gotham. And the reason why I think there's so much talk about Gotham and the Batman stuff and everything like that is because that's what people want. People want Batman. People want Nightwing and Robins and Teen Titans and stuff like that. And yes, I know Teen Titans are not necessarily set in Gotham, but they have a strong connection to Gotham due to Nightwing and the Robins being involved with Titans. And I think that's why there's going to be a heavy connection there. Whether that's how it plays out, again, take this with a grain of salt. Now, the article, we talked about it. We discussed this. So with Andy Muschietti now on board with Brave and the Bold, almost fully. I mean, Welcome to Derry has wrapped up its production. It's in post-production right now. So that should be wrapping up pretty soon. It's easy to speculate that a Teen Titans movie could be among the next projects to be fully greenlit. Makes sense. We could see a Teen Titans movie next on the docket. That would help establish Nightwing. Could establish another Robin. Maybe, if there is another Robin. Who knows? Like, that is the beauty of what is going on here. Batgirl. We need to see a Batgirl in Gotham. And if you have a Nightwing, say in Titans, you can introduce Batgirl into that. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. Additionally, there were rumors, which you can find over at slavsfreetalk.com, that Waller is going to be very heavily involved with Batman in some form or fashion. That's important, especially because James Gunn stated recently that Waller has been pushed past Peacemaker Season 2. And if Peacemaker Season 2 comes out the end of 2025, after Superman, you figure Waller then is probably going to be early 2026 at the soonest release. And if that's the case, that kind of lines up where things now start to fall in place where Waller connects to the Batman universe. And as you see, there's going to be these little pockets of things just kind of connecting with each other. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it makes sense. Now let's kind of delve into this idea and this concept that he was talking about with a world within a world. And it makes a lot of sense when you sort of take a look at how Marvel has done their world and some of the issues that they've had and how it's sort of failed. You know, they've struggled recently with their overarching narrative, possibly because they really just didn't know what to do. And they sort of did this thing where they were like, let's focus on Wanda. Let's focus over here on Loki. Let's focus here. And then they just lost everything. They didn't know what they were doing. It just kind of became a jumbled mess. But if you want to differentiate yourself from Marvel, I think James Gunn is going to do this. I think he's going to say, look, we're going to take Superman. We're going to take Batman. We're going to take Green Lanterns. We're going to take Wonder Woman's. We're going to take their stories, and we're going to make them their own secluded narratives. And we're going to build a little world within the DCU of Superman, of Batman, of Wonder Woman, of Green Lantern, of Aquaman, of this. And they're going to have their own little pockets within the DCU where they're going to have a living, breathing world. And absolutely, we're going to have crossovers. We're going to see it immediately in Superman, where Hawkgirl and Green Lantern are going to be there. And Mr. Terrific, yes, we're going to have the crossovers. These characters can jump between these little pockets through the DCU. But essentially, these pockets are going to have their own living, breathing world. I think that makes a lot of sense. And how the overarching story where we get to the Justice League level events, how that's going to happen is to be seen. But you stay a little more secluded and have these character-driven stories within these worlds. I think it makes a lot more sense. And even thinking about it, it mirrors how Gunn approached Guardians of the Galaxy within the MCU. Think about that. Gunn approached the Guardians of the Galaxy where, while they were in the MCU, it was its own little pocket universe. Everything that happened there was within its little universe, essentially. It was outside the MCU, but in the MCU. Sure, Thanos was part of it. Thanos was part of the larger universe. But it was in its own little pocket. When they came into the Avenger-level threats, they made it seamlessly work. But when it came out of it, boom, back into its own story. It made sense. It worked. I have a feeling that what he told me here, all this stuff, is how it's going to happen in the DCU. It's really interesting, and it's an interesting way to handle it. And if it happens this way, I think it could be the right way to handle it, because it differentiates itself from the MCU. And it gives fans the ability to, you want to watch the Batman stuff, you can watch the Batman stuff and then still jump into that Justice League level event. You can watch the Superman stuff and still jump in. You may not necessarily have to watch everything around it if they handle it right. Could be interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you think this is going to play out. I think this might be what is happening. Maybe somebody go ask James Gunn. You know how he likes to debunk things if it's wrong. Although, be interesting. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments. If you think this is accurate, I look, take it with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm not the kind of person, I don't want to be in that game, putting out information. I just thought, with the information that is out there, this sound accurate enough. And it's not really a scoop, because it's kind of, this information is out there. It's just kind of pulling it together, and you piece things and you start to see how it all fits. So it's interesting. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. With all that said, hit that like button, hit subscribe, share, become a Slav Geek Talker, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff. With all that said, though, I'll catch you all later.